Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and thank you to my friend and my neighbour to the north, the member for McEwen, for bringing forward this motion, and to the member for Indi for sharing her reflections and her community's needs as well. The past 14 years have, for many people in Victoria, been incredibly difficult. There has been a lot of rebuilding to do, not just of physical bricks and mortar, but of people and of communities, and this work is ongoing. And while the fires didn't burn in Jagga Jagga, they were just next door to our north, and many locals did feel the impact. They were the people who rushed to provide support, as CFA members, as community members. They stood with family, friends, colleagues who lost lives, property and livelihoods. The Black Saturday bushfires loom large for people in our part of the world. And so today, not long after the 14th anniversary of the fires, we remember the 173 lives lost, the 414 people injured, and the destruction of over 3,500 structures, including 2,000 homes. We also remember the loss of animals that day, domestic and wild. Deputy Speaker, bushfire is a threat in communities like mine, particularly in the northeastern part of the electorate. In Kangaroo Ground, Research, Eltham and Eltham North, it's something communities live with every summer. And I recognise and thank the volunteers and members of our emergency services, particularly the CFA, who continue to put themselves on the front line to protect our communities. Eltham, Research, Kangaroo Ground and communities across Nillumbik have volunteer brigades made up of locals protecting locals. And on this day, Black Saturday, just over 14 years ago, it was an all-in effort from these brigades and services and the people who support them right across the state. I'm sure that many in Melbourne and surrounds know of the Kangaroo Ground War Memorial Tower in my electorate. It has a long history, including on Black Saturday. It was a fire-spotting tower. And the book King Lake 350 tells us how, on the day, from the top of the tower, fire spotter Colleen Keating watched in disbelief at the size and speed of the thing as it came pouring over the slopes of Mount Sugarloaf and raced towards St Andrews, a mountain of smoke 10 kilometres high, too wide. And that, if not for a wind change, the communities impacted and the loss of life could have been even worse. The book says, the wind change would prove to be a bullet dodged for the residents of Melbourne's outer suburbs, a close escape most still don't understand they had. Given its speed, energy and direction, in another hour or two the inferno would have descended on the tightly packed, overgrown suburbs of the northeast. Warrandyte, Hurstbridge, Diamond Creek, Greensborough, Eltham. For Melbourne, it was a near miss. Deputy Speaker, in the aftermath of these fires and in the face of this awful tragedy, community near and far came together. And we did see the best of people come out. Victorians did pull together. The generosity of so many, including those who had lost so much themselves, was obvious and widespread. And here in our country, we have seen too often in recent years, through fires, floods, cyclones and other disasters, Australians coming together and Australians supporting each other. And it is a critical part of our infrastructure, our resilience and our community. And again, I thank everyone who gave their support that day. The people who are there for the good times and the bad, who stand up when they're needed. And I know there are people in my community and in others who still bear the scars of standing up on that day and supporting others, and our thoughts are with them. Deputy Speaker, Black Saturday also showed us the failures of a system that was not prepared for the scale of this disaster on this day or, in fact, in the aftermath. For many Australians, the places they live in are areas that have faced or could face a disaster. And it is important that as communities, as governments, we think about this and we prepare both ourselves, our properties and our communities accordingly. And we encourage all around us, our neighbours, our communities, our governments to do the same. 14 years on from Black Saturday, we pause and we remember the people who were lost and those who are still here but whose lives changed forever that day, the people who continue to struggle with mental health and other challenges. We remember the communities that are on that long path to recovery, and that while many things have recovered after 14 years, some things can never be recovered.